Hi everyone, it's Jen VAUTHRIN coming to you today from Soulutions Counselling. Today I have the incredible pleasure of having my wonderful son with me, Tyson Peacock, and this is really dear and near to me because I almost lost him 4.5 years ago to a mountain bike accident which led to a brain injury. And this is what we're going to be discussing today is traumatic brain injuries and how they affect not only the victim themselves, but the family, and where do we go? So, as you can see, this is my son, who I love immensely, and I have the great pleasure of having him still in my life after 4.5 years after suffering a traumatic brain injury, and he really went through hell and back.
What?
Tyson, do you remember anything about that day? That day that you were up at Whistler Mountain? I remember I got a text from him saying, "Hey mom, this is our last run. I'll text you afterwards. Love you lots." I'm like, oh, okay. I was really nervous and, you know, because this is the first time he had been up at Whistler. But do you remember anything? Do you remember like renting the bike, the gear, the...
It's not like I have no vivid recollection of anything. It's just I don't remember anything.
Okay. Not going to the hospital?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So I'll give you a brief kind of what happened. So I got a phone call from my other son, and it was 2 days before my other son's birthday, Stephen, his 17th birthday. So that would have been August 2nd, 2012. And he was working up in Whistler roofing. And he called me and said, "Hey mom, Tyson's in the hospital. I don't want you to freak out. It's probably just a broken collarbone. It's nothing serious. Don't worry about it." Well, being a paranoid mother, boom, I'm hanging up on him, calling the hospital. What's going on with my son? Nobody can talk to me. And I'm like, my heart's freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Can't get there. I mean, it's, you know, a 2.5-hour drive, 3-hour drive to get to him. Finally, the doctor calls me back and the doctor says, well, we don't think your son's going to make it, but we're going to airlift him to VGH. And I went into, I don't know what mode. I just went into a mode of, oh my God. My niece was there. I said, do this, like call whoever, and I got in my car and they were airlifting him to VGH and we went. And we got to the hospital faster than the helicopter got to the hospital with Tyson in it. And so when they brought Tyson in, I got to see him. The social workers had been working with me and saying, you know, like, we really don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. We don't know what's happened. We don't know anything. And when he came in, there was blood everywhere. I couldn't see him. But the doctors were really good. They were really good. They let me see him and talk to him, even though he couldn't hear me. He was in a coma. And I got to hold him and say, everything's going to be okay. And you're going to get through this. And they just kept working with you. And so then they brought him up to intensive care after they'd taken all his clothes off and stabilized him. And anyways, from that point on, we just worked with him, and I slept in the ICU for 3 days on 2 chairs, not even as comfy as this, put back to back, which you're not supposed to do, but I did. And so then they worked with you, and they would touch his hand and see if there was any feeling in it, or touch his feet, because he had a fractured C7. I think that's what it is. I can't even remember myself, you guys, to be honest with you. So much had happened. He's got scars here. He had no teeth. Smile. Yes, now he has nice new teeth.
Yeah, my teeth actually look nicer now than they did before.
They do. And yeah, after braces and everything else,
well,
yeah. And from there, we kind of went through this. The first 3 days are the most critical, so we don't know if you're going to make it or you're going to die or what's going to happen because of the swelling in the brain. They had to figure out where the bleeding was coming from, had it stopped. So all of this went on. He was in a coma for 9 days. That's just a whole other video, you guys. I could explain all that to you, and you really don't know what's going on. And 9 days. So then when he came out of the coma, and they had to sort of slowly bring him out, because at one point they tried to bring him out, but his body wasn't ready, his brain wasn't ready. And so there's different drugs that they keep you on to make sure that it's safe enough for him to come out and not freak out and go into other, I mean, medically, I can't explain it. So then he comes out and he goes into GF Strong, because he has to, like, when he awoke, he didn't know who he was, who I was, where he was, what had happened, the day, the time, how to eat, how to walk. He knew nothing, but he couldn't move. He couldn't walk. He didn't have the motor skills.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Right?
Yeah.
To walk. So it was pushing him and teaching him how to eat again. Anyways, that was done and said, and so we were out there for a month. Then we went to GF Strong. I should say, well, it feels like we went to GF Strong because I was there with him every minute of the day. So you can imagine how this affected my 17-year-old at the time, who had just turned 17. I mean, he lost his mother. I wasn't there. I was completely gone. And he had to raise himself, which can be very difficult when you're used to having your mother there. And it was just Tyson, Stephen, and I. So it was really hard. Yeah, so after GF Strong, he got out of GF Strong and came home. And I don't think Tyson will remember, but he couldn't listen to it, like bright lights. No way. Tyson was a hardcore gamer. Wanted nothing to do with lights, gaming, TV, music, nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Then after that, there's absolutely no rehabilitation for after your GF Strong. You get 6 weeks rehabilitation, and that's it. In that 6 week time, Tyson went through it. He had suicidal thoughts, because they don't put you on any medication. It's just, you're out, you're done, you're good, this is it. And then we went into December 25th. He decided that he was going to try and commit suicide. Because in Tyson's eyes, we were all just bacteria on the face of the earth. That's how Tyson felt. And do you remember any part of this at all that I'm describing?
Yeah. What you just said, I do vividly recall saying that.
Okay, so
I certainly don't feel that way anymore, but I am.
So tell me from that point, what do you remember from kind of that point? Because these guys want to hear what you have to say, not what I have to say, because I can tell them, I can tell you from a family point what's happened to our family, and it's really, you would think it would bring us closer together. It tore us apart, because it's very frustrating. It's really hard to understand where a person is coming from, the anxiety that you developed. This is a kid, not a kid now, but a kid that there was no fear in his life. Nothing.
Yeah, just to put things into perspective, when I was mountain biking up at Whistler, I was doing 10, 15 foot gaps, and I was traveling 5-6 feet in the air.
You know, he would go out and do different things and climb different trees.
Oh, yeah, maybe they recall that.
No fear. Now we're at a point where he doesn't even leave the house.
Yes.
And the depression and the weight gain, and, because he went from, what were you saying?
About 140 pounds.
6'3",
140 pounds.
6'3", 140 pounds.
To, what am I at now, 250? Yeah, 250.
Yeah. And so that's pretty life altering. So what would be the key points that have affected you throughout this? Do you remember any of your suicide attempts?
Not a single one.
Okay, do you remember?
I know you said there was something like 3 or 4,
yeah.
But I don't remember a single one.
So I'll bring you up to speed on this. December 25th was the first one. February was the second one. He was supposed to go to work. He was working. They gave him his license back. He went back to work for Panago Pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
And he blew a shift. He went up to Whistler, and he was trying to find the tallest building that he could jump off of, because he just was so depressed.
Yeah, I remember that whatsoever.
Yeah. So anyways, he did come back down and had to explain to his boss, days later, what happened to him, because we were all wondering. And Then the next one was the Petula Bridge. He decided that he was going to drive his car out to the Petula Bridge, which we had no idea. Tyson and I had gotten into a disagreement or a fight because it's very frustrating. It's really, it's so damaging what we go through on all aspects, because he of course doesn't remember who he is, and I'm still looking for the old Tyson, and the old Tyson isn't there. The old Tyson is gone. Bits and pieces are there, but if you have no recollection of your childhood.
No. Well, bits and pieces, but like a solid 90% of it I don't remember.
Yeah. That's got to be pretty tough.
Why?
So how does that affect you now?
I just try to stay incredibly entertained.
Okay, but what about if you're not entertained? What happens?
I become anxious and, how do I put this? I don't want to say the opposite of being content, but essentially I just become anxious. Anxious and, I don't want to say irritated, but much more irritable.
Okay, how come we never see, I never see you irritated?
Because I just remember.
So what does that mean? Can you explain what that means and tell other people, like maybe another parent that might be watching, or somebody that you could connect with that has a brain injury or a mental illness that does the same thing. I mean, it can be post-traumatic stress. It can be any sort of mental illness, you guys. This doesn't have to be just a brain injury. It can be anything. This is really crucial. Tell me how you feel when you get overwhelmed.
Sorry, I was trying to think about the past. Could you please repeat yourself?
So this is another thing. Like, since your brain injury, what happens is Tyson has everything up here, and it's got to be really frustrating. As a naturopath put it to me, which was really cool, it's like being locked inside your own body. And for you, I guess that's what it's like, because everything's up here, and it's not flowing out your mouth. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it would drive me nuts, because you can see I talk a lot. And for Tyson thinks so much. So his thoughts are not coming out his mouth as fast as he's thinking.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it.
Is that fair enough? Yeah.
What I recall, as you're speaking about me and over the past 2 years kind of thing, I just had no passion.
Yeah.
No passion.
Yeah, excellent. And so what got you to the passion now that you have? Like, do you remember anything that would help somebody else in your situation? Like, what are you passionate about right now?
The two things I'm incredibly passionate about right now are video games, for one, and biking, two. I still
well, there's actually three.
Oh,
it's actually three. He has a really cool dog named Lovey.
Oh, yes. I'm incredibly passionate.
Right, and we've just fostered another one that he's really good with animals.
Oh, yes.
And tell me about the video gaming. Like, what does that do for you now?
Well, when I play video games, I feel content because I'm challenged.
Okay.
And when I'm challenged, I feel like I'm utilizing my mind in a productive manner because I'm enhancing my cognitive abilities by strengthening them due to me pushing myself.
Nice. Excellent. That's wonderful.
And since I'm not only utilizing my cognitive abilities, I'm utilizing like my body, like hand-eye coordination kind of thing. It helps me grow that much more.
So do you feel as though, I know you're looking into doing a YouTube video or starting YouTube videos to assist others when it comes to gaming. And I know they've helped you.
Oh, yes.
And so your purpose now would be to what? Like, why are you doing this YouTube video with me today?
One, because you really wanted me to. That's the first,
I did.
That's
knowledge.
Yeah. That's the key point I want to get across, is that I really wanted to help my mom out and to share my story.
But while sharing your story, why would you share your story? Do you feel as though it'll help others?
I feel like, how do I put this? There's a quote I have on my phone. It's absolutely fantastic one. I have a couple of quotes that are absolutely fantastic.
What are they?
I don't know which ones. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but the one I'm referring to is knowledge is power. So
That's where I got my slogan for Soulutions Counselling. My
Oh.
son, knowledge is power.
oh, nice.
Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, I just feel as though by pushing yourself to become that much more knowledgeable or enlightened, if you will, you're that much better off.
I love that. I agree. I totally love it. Like, the intellect that you have is just above and beyond. But it took you a while to get there.
Oh yes.
So I'm just going to step back a bit
Okay.
and go into, so everybody understands that this didn't happen overnight. This is 4.5 years, and he still has days where I'm walking through the door screaming and yelling because of my frustration, because I'm human. And it's so frustrating to see the ones we love hurt. And we want to fix everything for them. And when you go home and you see them in bed and you see that, like, they're worth so much more, and why don't they feel like they're more? The pain is just so overwhelming. And I know that sounds selfish, but it is. It's so true. Like, when I come home and I see you laying in bed, you haven't done anything all day, it's like, you've got so much to give. You've come so far. For God's sakes, you were almost dead. Like, you were this close. This close. And then one of your accidents, the car accident, and having to go to court and deal with lawyers and
Oh my goodness, that was so stressful.
yeah. And like, that was the second helicopter ride he had, because he went through an intersection light, hit 2 other vehicles at 140 kilometers through a red light, not thinking, mental illness.
Yeah, I don't even remember it whatsoever.
It wasn't like he intended to hurt anybody. His main goal was just, I don't want to live this life anymore.
I just want to indulge in eternal peace.
That was his thing. I just want to indulge in eternal peace. Just please, God, please just let me, like, I don't want to hurt anymore. I don't want to feel this pain. I don't want to feel like crap anymore. Just get me out of here, right?
Eternal peace.
Eternal peace.
Yep.
I mean, these 2 other individuals that were hurt in the accident, I mean, that's hell, because Tyson's father died in a car accident. This is a whole other story, but that's how he died. So for me, it was a double whammy. I had somebody die because of it, and I had a son who had created. Nobody died, thank God. They are okay. Everything's okay. I'm sure they've suffered, and the horror that we feel creating and inflicting that pain on other people. But this is what it all brings back to, this mental illness. And if you had have been treated the proper way, this is why getting knowledge out to everybody is so important. There are steps that you can take. This didn't have to happen. If I knew then what I know now, this didn't have to happen. The frustration that Tyson felt, the meds that he was on, 8 different medications. I mean, you're going up, you're coming down, you're left, right, forwards, backwards. It was hell. It can be hell to this day. But to see you now is just incredible. And where you've become. And I guess what I want to get across to others is, what has happened in your life? Like, I know smoking pot has been one. Can you kind of give me an idea of why you even entertained smoking pot after your accident?
As opposed to me feeling anxious and depressed, it would help address my anxiety and my depression by making me feel entertained.
And what were the downsides to it?
The downsides to smoking pot?
Mm-hmm.
I become, oh my goodness, there's so many different strains out there, and people are putting only God knows what in each, and what they're selling nowadays, so it's really risky. Well, it all depends on the strain, right? Because sativa makes you feel upbeat and energetic.
But then you have to come to a crash.
Do you ever? Yeah, I was just about to get to that point.
For you, it's like somebody doing cocaine. You get this euphoric high of, I'm God.
Yep.
And then you crash, and that's why people go back into this, because they don't want to feel the crash. They go back into, well, let's snort another line. I want to feel that high again.
Oh, yeah, that's why I smoke so much pot. Well,
Right.
I used to, at least.
So that you did that for some time, and I mean, would you recommend that to other people? Would you say that?
Unless you're getting it medically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend getting it off the street.
What would you say has been things that have helped you?
Absolutely loved recording notes and quotes.
Great. Do you have any on your phone
certainly.
with you?
Do you mind if I read a couple?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be lovely.
Well, the first one I know I created.
So you created these?
No,
Some of them?
No, just one of them.
Okay.
And all the other ones I've just found over the years.
And where did you find these?
Well, there's the Slight Edge app I just paid for.
Oh, okay. And where did you find that?
On the App Store.
You have an iPhone?
Yeah.
And you found it on the App Store?
Yes.
And it's called what?
The Slight Edge.
Why would somebody with anxiety or depression, or people who are suicidal, or just tired, period, overwhelmed, why would somebody get up and decide, okay, I'm going to look for a motivational quote?
After reading a couple of inspirational quotes, I was like, oh, you know what? That's not a bad idea to start recording these. I recall being incredibly depressed for quite some time. And when I was depressed, what would make me feel productive or like a valuable member of society would be to do things that I perceive to be productive so that I'm not wasting my time, wasting my life.
And for you, can I just stop you for a
certainly.
minute? For
What's
you, even though you couldn't get out of the house or out of your bed, or because it was just too overwhelming to be on your phone, you felt as though you were...
I felt incredibly content and very, very, very... I felt content, productive, relaxed, safe.
People, Tyson, who, you know, are starving to hear your story, are starving to see the success that you've made out of your life. Or myself, for instance, you know, having anxiety from 13 on, and not being able to leave the house, and to see me sitting in this wonderful woman's office filming so that we can get our stories out there to help other people. Because this knowledge is power, right? I mean, how incredible is that for us to be able to share with other people what we have, what other people have, and give them that inspiration to live, to go forward, to know that this isn't the end, that you can get so much more out of life. And I can see, and the whole world can see, how perfect you are, the way you are right now, the way I am right now. And I'm hoping that these videos are going to inspire the rest of you to know that Tyson's put on 100 and some odd pounds, but in that time you've also lost weight. And how did you do that? Just out of curiosity, how did you
lose weight?
Yeah, like what was...
Well, I know I shot up to something like, oh my goodness.
263?
Yeah, 263. I know I was at least 263, maybe a little bit more, but I'm 100% sure I weighed a solid 263. And I started taking USANA. And
what's USANA?
Nutritional supplements. Yeah. So nutritional supplements, ranging anywhere from vitamins to I don't want to list off everything.
Shakes, bars.
Yeah, shakes, bars. Yeah. They have those things.
And so, how did you feel like? Because your medication then dropped.
Oh, yep. This is true.
Right.
Yes.
And so, not to say that supplements are like don't stop taking your medication because you're on supplements, but did you feel that it addressed that in any way? Like your anxiety or depression or weight or lethargic feelings? Or...
Well, there's a direct correlation between your body and your mind. So when you address your body, so for instance, when you're overweight and when you're feeling unhealthy because your body's in an unhealthy state, once you address that unhealthy state that your body's in, kind of thing, then your mind starts feeling that much better. But
why this supplement company? Why USANA? Why them?
I lost 15 pounds in the first 13 days.
Wow.
Yeah. I had a radical shift in mental clarity. And just to sum it up, I'm being mentored by one of the top income earners in the company, and she said that she'd gladly speak with you and I.
Oh, wow.
Well, not you, but you and I.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's excellent. And so you feel a difference. You feel as though you're able to come out of your shell. And,
yes.
And it's just feeding the brain, feeding your body properly.
Yes.
And so now you're on a venture of getting back into discovering the new Tyson. And that's kind of the excitement of discovering the new Tyson, would you say?
Yeah.
But the guy you are today, Tyson, is incredible.
Oh, nice.
I know I keep using that word incredible for everything I describe, but I can't. It's just so empowering. So to wrap all of this up, Tyson, I just want to talk to you now quickly about your why. I think with USANA, that was your big aha, was you had to dig into your why. Why do you want to live now?
I take pride in my accomplishments, and I'm proud of myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you too. I really am. I'm very proud of you.
Cool.
What are your goals?
What are my goals? Well, I really want to lose some weight, lose my belly. And let's see. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to get some content on the internet in regards to me, like doing stuff with myself, like playing on the computer kind of thing.
And what else? Because I think you and Darby were just talking about, I know you're really passionate about biking.
Oh, yes.
And you buy and sell bikes. Actually, that was one thing that kept you going, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Throughout this whole thing. That's what we haven't really touched on, was the fact that Tyson's always been really great with bikes. And after his accident, that was something that you continued on with.
Well, I stopped jumping. And I stopped...
After he broke his collarbone. Yes.
Yeah.
That was after the accident.
Yeah, broke my collarbone after the accident.
Couldn't ride, but he did anyways. So getting back to the goals. Your goals would be your YouTube, your weight, perfecting your brain, I guess, with your memory. Like you used to play Brain Trainer, I believe it is.
Yeah, or Lumosity.
Lumosity. Would you recommend those to people?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's well worth the subscription.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So anything you'd like to say to anybody out there listening right now, parents or people who are going through what you've gone through or are going through?
First thing that popped into my head, and it just keeps replaying over and over again, is the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Amen to that. The journey of 1,000 miles
starts with a single step.
Starts with a single step. I love that. Awesome. So walking and listening to like The Slight Edge or just inspirational books, audiobooks, you find really helps you.
Oh, yes.
WIMP videos.
Oh, WIMP videos are absolutely fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Tyson. Thanks for being here.
Oh, my
Thanks for
pleasure.
being my kid.
Love you lots more.
Thanks for putting me through hell and back. And vice versa, of course, because you love it when I come through the door and go, ah! All right? Because I'm a freak. No, you hate that. Get out! Right?
Yes.
It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for taking your time and sharing your story with everybody out there who feels suicidal and suffers with traumatic brain injuries, mental illness. There is hope. There is so much hope, is there not?
Oh, yes.
There is. Look into the camera and tell these people there is hope.
There's hope.
There's hope. And you can do this no matter if it's drug addiction, mental illness, traumatic brain injuries, whatever it is, anxiety, depression, you can do this. We are totally here to support you. And we have a wealth of information because God only knows we've had to look for it and search it and seek it out. So use us as your tools. You'll see a whole bunch of links down below. Connect with me. If you want to talk to Tyson, I can connect you to him, and he will, I'm sure, gladly speak to you and chat with you and help you through your experience as well.
Oh, yes.
Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for tuning in today, you guys. It means so much to be able to share this with you, and I hope we've helped you get through today and tomorrow and the next day.